The measuring stick just changed around here, buddy. You're looking at it.
You are now listening to the Outsiders Podcast, the most exciting and hard-hitting show on the net. And now, bringing it hard as always on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL, here are your hosts, Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger.
All right, guys, big day here on the Outsiders Podcast. Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger here as always. We are about to bring on the Nigerian Nightmare, legendary Chiefs running back Christian Okoye on this very program.
Big number 35's coming on, going to run over us, steamroll the Outsiders.
I'm not trying to tackle him, I'll tell you that. I saw him on Pros vs. Joes, and later on in his life, in his 40s, he was just unstoppable, could not be brought down. I don't want any part of that, but I'll tell you what a legendary figure in Kansas City. Here's a guy who didn't even play football until the mid-'80s, and he joined the Chiefs in 1987 as Frank Gantz was coach. Thrived under Marty Schottenheimer, had his biggest year as a pro, 1989, rushed for over 1,400 yards, AFC Offensive MVP that year. Chiefs didn't make the playoffs, but it was the start of Marty's tenure, the start of the Chiefs' rise back to prominence.
Yeah, Marty gave him the ball 370 times. Frank Gantz only gave it to him about 150, 120 times his first 2 years. Marty's like, what are you doing? Let's ride this horse. And had his best year, Marty's first year when he got here, 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, Pro Bowl, AFC Offensive Player of the Year. So
3 playoff appearances, 1990, 91, 92. Played with, of course, Steve DeBerg and then Dave Craig in his career.
Derek Thomas, Kevin Ross, Charles Mincy. I mean, the list goes on. Bill Moss.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the Nigerian Nightmare thing kind of took on a life of its own. I mean, he was a beloved figure here in Kansas City, right up there with the Derek Thomas, right up there, when Neil Smith came here and that whole mentality.
Well, Neil ruined that going to Denver and winning those Super Bowls. He's dead to me, but that's another story for another time.
Well, as for now, we're going to go ahead and bring on Christian Okoye.
Kansas City and the Chiefs.
No one epitomizes smash mouth football like Christian Okoye.
Well, I think power football is when you go into a game and your opponent know what you're going to do. Every time we play a game, our opponents usually know that we're going to run the ball a lot, and so they usually pile people up in front of us, and we're still running, and we're running effectively.
And we are being joined right now by former Chiefs great Christian Okoye. Christian, it is good to talk to you. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. Here in Missouri, we finally got our little heat wave. We're up to about 100 now, so you know how that is. 2 days here in Kansas City. You probably remember that pretty vividly.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to be in Kansas City next weekend. Weekend of the 22nd. I hope it's not that hot when I'm in town.
Yeah. Maybe we'll drop down by then for sure, but Christian, I'll tell you what, it is just so good to talk to you. Of course, a legend of the NFL, 6 seasons in Kansas City, 1989 AFC, Offensive Player of the Year, rushing champion 1989, 3 playoff appearances, 90, 91, 92. So many accolades. So this town just really embraced you. I mean, just kind of take us back to coming to Kansas City and what you thought about becoming a Chief and just some of your best memories early in your career.
Well, when I first got drafted by the Chiefs, my old college coach told me that I'm really going to like Kansas City. And I didn't understand what he was talking about. He told me, he says, the city is really nice, people are nice, and good food, and so on and so forth. And he was right. But I came to Kansas City, people in Kansas City embraced me, I embraced them. I love the city. I come out there once a month. And, I just love the Chiefs Stadium, the fans. I love the Hart family, the great owners. And there's nothing for me to hear about Kansas City. I love it. I feel like family when I come back.
Well, that's great. We're so glad you're able to make it back, and we certainly embraced you. The Nigerian Nightmare, all that stuff. Christian, of course, your life growing up. You grew up in Nigeria, I believe, and just talk about how much your life changed because of football. Because I believe you didn't even start playing until maybe in the mid '80s, before playing in the NFL. So talk about how much your life changed growing as a kid growing up in Nigeria to a professional football player later on in your life.
you sort of every time you set a goal and accomplish your goal, you actually your life changes. So in my own case, of course, it changed. Because everything worked out for me. I was blessed. I was able to play in a game that I didn't grow up in. And I'm one of those blessed guys. And we're just one of the chosen guys that play in the NFL. And I can't change it for anything. Every day, I thank God for the opportunity.
Well, we as Americans always assume, the NFL, football, it's the best game on earth, right? But you, Christian, your first game, you thought football was boring. So tell us about that. How did you come to wind up embracing the game after just seeing it for the first time and not really maybe enjoying it or getting it that much?
Well, it's my friends keep talking me to staying with the game. That's in college. Because of course you're playing a game that you never saw growing up. Not even talking about playing. But I got thrown into it, and I was playing it, and I wasn't enjoying it. And my friends were encouraging me to stay with it because, of course, they saw that I was big, strong, and I can run. And they thought I can be good. I could be good. So they encouraged me to stay with it, which I did, and I'm glad it worked out.
You get drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in the second round. Can you talk to us about your draft day experience and what you were hearing? If you were hearing maybe you could have been a late first-round pick, or if you were excited to be picked by the Chiefs.
Before draft, you get all these rumors going on, and people that think they know what they're talking about, are talking and stuff, But I think I was smart enough to just say to myself, hey, if it happens, it happens. I'm just going to sit and wait it out, and I did. And luckily, Chiefs came around and picked me in the second round, so that's all blessing.
When you come in 1987, the head coach is Frank Gans. In 1989, they make a transition to Carl Peterson and Marty Schottenheimer. What were your thoughts on the transition? Did you like the Marty Schottenheimer era more than the Frank Gans era? Can you compare the two?
I was the only player, man. I was there to play the game, and the owners thought the change was good, and it was good because when Marty came, everything picked up. We started winning, and the stadium started filling up. So, of course, if you own a business, you're going to think about how to improve the business. And Lamar and the family thought about it, and they made the change, and it was right. They were right.
Christian, you rushed for over 600 yards as a rookie, but in 1989, your career really took off. You rushed for over 1,400 yards. You were named AFC Offensive MVP. For a team that got better under Marty Schottenheimer. Just what happened in 1989? How come you think that your career really took off in that particular year?
I ran the ball more. They gave me the ball, and I ran it more. That's the obvious answer to that.
Sure.
They saw that I can run the ball. Marty saw I can run the ball, and he fed me the ball. So, and the rest was history.
Christian, so many wonderful teammates of yours. We've interviewed most of them on the show. Guys like Nick Lowry and Bill Moss. Obviously Derek Thomas, who has passed away. Neil Smith. You played with so many wonderful players here in Kansas City. Did the players embrace you as you came in? Even though you were somewhat new to the game.
Yes. Those guys. I spent so much time with them, and they're like brothers to me. Most of them, we still talk, and I just talked to Neil Smith this morning, down to Lamore. They're like brothers to me. So when I come in town, we do get together. They're all coming to my golf tournament, which I want to talk about. On the 24th, Monday, we have a golf tournament coming up for my foundation, and all these guys are coming out to help out and play in it as celebrities.
Well, yeah, definitely. Give us some more info on how people can get involved in the golf tournament. That's coming up here Monday on June 24th, I believe. So give us some of the details on how people can get involved.
Yes, Monday, June 24th at Staley Farms Golf Club. Tee-off is at 12 noon. Registration is at 10. And if anybody's interested in getting involved, they can go to okoyefoundation.org. I'll register
Going back to your playing days, you played with Derek Thomas, and like we mentioned, unfortunately, he had the car accident and passed away a little bit after that. What were your thoughts when you heard the news and got the news, and some memories you have of Derek Thomas?
I lost a good friend. It was a tragedy. I lost a great friend, and the Thomas can never be replaced in Kansas City or as a friend.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, obviously it was something that kind of took all of us by surprise, and we were, Kansas City as a town is such a wonderful sports town, and they love the Chiefs, and they love Derek Thomas. They embraced him so much. It was very hard to hear that. And, another thing I kind of want to get into as far as your career is you played 6 seasons in Kansas City. You had a lot of carries. You were one of the more physical runners in the history of the game. I mean, at 6'1", 260 pounds, you were running a 4.4, just plowing over people. Do you think, though, that your physical running style, do you think that wound up shortening your career due to injuries?
Well, every time you run a running back a lot, it tends to kind of shorten their careers, but I'm not complaining because that's what I was supposed to do. Not at all. I'm not complaining. I'd rather run the ball like that than do anything else. I think that's what my body was built for, and I wouldn't complain at all. I was fortunate to be in that position, and I embraced it.
Do you have any memories of Marty Schottenheimer and playing for such a great coach, one of the best in history?
Well, I just remember the meeting rooms, before games, all his speeches and all that stuff, and it was great. It was great at motivating players, and I remember when he would tell me, Christian, when you get out there, if you don't have a hole, make one yourself. That's it. That was great, So he was a great coach for me and many of my teammates.
We have 2 fan questions for you here. One is from Frank Farias III. He asks you what you think it would have felt like to play and win a Super Bowl, and your thoughts on Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles is awesome. He's running crazy, man. He's a great running back for the Chiefs, and I watch him. I love watching him run. And it would have been nice to win a Super Bowl, of course, but just playing the league is a blessing on its own. So I can't really complain, but it would have been icing on the cake if we had gone further.
The next fan question is from Kimberly Bandy Kennedy. She wants to know, what do you think the Chiefs need to do this preseason to be a division contender in the AFC West?
I think they're doing it. They brought in new players, and they brought in a good coach, and they have a good combination now to put things together. I mean, I think it'll be a lot better this year than they were last year, and it's going to be exciting this year to watch the Chiefs, and for sure a playoff team they are. You see, a playoff team they are. So I'm excited for the season.
Absolutely, hopefully so. And of course, Christian, as we do this, we got our big Nigerian Nightmare poster still up in our studio, the old school one that featuring you, in the bed and the child. What a great poster and a great image that is. Of course, you became known as the Nigerian Nightmare, but do you remember the first time that name was ever used, and how did the nickname ever actually come about?
My teammates started calling me the Nigerian Nightmare, so and that just took hold, My teammates were calling me that in practice. And then when the ESPN came to do a story on me, and they were talking to teammates about me, and that's how it started.
Well, we'd love to hear what you're up to now, Christian, just what you've been doing with your life after football.
Well, I still run my foundation, which has been going on now for 23 years. We do events for kids, and in Kansas City, we do the golf tournament so we can raise money. I like to provide athletic training for high schools to have medical people, first aid for football games in the Kansas City school district. So that's what we're doing the golf tournament for. And then, of course, in California, I founded the California Sports Hall of Fame. If you go to CaliforniaSportsHallOfFame.com, you can see what we're all about. I started that organization in 2006. And we just now had our 7th induction this last Sunday. Inductees were Joe Montana, Tony Gwynn,
wow,
Greg Louganis, John Robinson, Coach John Robinson, the former sprinter Florence Griffith Joyner, and Luke Robitaille.
that's quite a list, and I'll tell you what, if you've got, with the California Sports Hall of Fame, there's enough names of people coming from California to fill that thing up for about the next 50 years. So I think that's going to be a wonderful thing. So many great athletes coming from that state, and great to hear, Joe Montana being inducted, as he is, of course, a former Chief as well, former San Francisco 49er. But I tell you what, Christian, we can't thank you enough for coming on today with us. Great stuff. Definitely would love to catch up with you again as the season starts and we can talk some current Chiefs football, but great talking about your career, and definitely looking forward to the golf tournament. Noah and I would love to come out and say hello and, just put a name with a face. We really appreciate you coming on today.
All right, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, Christian. Thanks a lot.
All right, bye-bye.
Awesome to hear from Christian Okoye. You guys heard it. He has his big golf tournament coming up here Monday, June 24th. Check out christianokoye.org to get more info on that. Great cause, and it's awesome that he's still coming back to Kansas City doing stuff for this community here, even though obviously, being from Nigeria, he was just drafted here. He was not from here originally, obviously, and here he is, still a part of the community.
Yeah, I said he talked to Neil Smith today, talking about his time playing with Derek Thomas. Marty Schottenheimer had good stories about Marty, helping him become the running back that he turned out to be.
Well, it was just really good to hear from Christian. What a great guy. What a pioneer at the position, because at 6'1", 260 pounds, he was one of the first guys that you saw just physically manhandling people, running over people.
Paved way for Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, good, absolutely did. And bigger running backs today, Steven Jackson, guys like that. And let's not forget Christian's appearance on the video game Tecmo Super Bowl in 1991. He was almost every bit as dominant as Bo Jackson. Can you imagine what these Japanese people, when they were making this game, thought of all these unbelievable American NFL running backs? I mean, Bo Jackson, Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, and Christian.
Bo Jackson had the speed as well as the power. Christian Okoye wasn't slow by all means, but Bo Jackson was just a freak. Christian Okoye definitely could break any tackle in that game you wanted or needed.
Well, hey, great to have Christian on. We hope you guys will continue listening. Outsiders Podcast, Clip Schweitzer, Noah Groniger, and we'll see you next time.